So I do all of my quote post-production unquote effects in Paint Pro 9, which is an ancient program, but it's what I learned to draw in and I know my way around it. I don't have Photoshop and I'm still slightly afraid of Clip Studio Paint because I tried to do a thing in it once and it didn't immediately work perfectly exactly as I wanted to, so it's too hard and I'm never going to learn it, obviously. But considering these tools I'm using are in a program that came out in 2004, I imagine they are in Photoshop, Clip Studio Paint, etc. I do know for a fact they're not in Sci, so you're kind of on your own there if that's what you use, but you could probably reproduce these effects using like soft brushes or the blur tool if you know how to use it. I really don't. That's why I use Paint Pro for this stuff. So the first thing I do is duplicate the layer of the thing that I want to be glowy. So I do that simply by clicking and duplicating it. As you can see, there's now a copy of it underneath. I'm just moving it around there to show you. Now I put it back. Then I use a blur effect, in this case a Gaussian blur, which up until I had to say it out loud for this video, I always read in my head as Gaussian, but anyway. How much you blur it is a thing I just play by ear. You can always fine-tune it by reducing the transparency of this glowy layer, as I do here, down to 50%, thought it was just a bit overwhelming before. It still wasn't looking quite as striking as I wanted it though, so in this case I used the magic wand to select the original layer for the circuit pattern, and then in the selection drop-down menu I contracted the selected area to be selecting a smaller portion of it, as you can see the change there. Still with this contracted selection selected, I made a new layer and I just colour it in white. And finally I apply another blur to this white layer to make the glow just pop a little bit more. I used a less strong blur here, but still reduced the transparency down because I didn't want to lose the strong pink colour entirely. And that's basically how I did it for this particular instance. I'll drag around the individual layers at the end of the video here so you can just see how they all look individually when they're not stacked up. As I've said many times in the past, my art process is very cobbled together and self-taught, by which I mean I look up tutorials, get bored, and try to figure out how I can just jump to the end result using the tools I already know. So in the same spirit of that method, I hope this helped you and you're able to apply any of the above to whatever program you do use. Good luck!